In the summer of 2006, something happened that would forever change the health world for me and for millions of people. A friend of mine had me over at his house, and he went out in the garden. He picked out all this organic salad stuff. He fresh picked it, brought it in the house, put it in a bowl, sat me down at the table, and we were sitting there eating the salad, and that happened all within about 10 minutes. We started eating the salad, and he said, there's something I want to share with you. What I just did and what you're eating is full of life energy. I just unplugged it from the garden. It's been sitting out there sucking up all the sunlight, getting the photosynthesis, pulling up the minerals from the soil. And that life energy that is in that plant is sitting in your bowl right in front of you. Now you can imagine if you're eating a salad that's coming from a store that's been sitting around for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, it's a whole different thing than when you go and unplug it from its life source and consume it right there. And I could feel that salad. I could feel how good that made me think about what I was eating and what I was tasting. And what I experienced was this really good vibe at that supper table that night. And we just sat there, and I remembered that forever because I related that to something that I would want to have on a day-to-day basis. But because it's seasonal and you can't really get fresh harvest stuff like that, is a rare thing. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if there was some way that you could get that kind of food every day, anywhere you would want, anywhere around the world? And at that time, it definitely seemed too good to be true. My friend also taught me about sprouting and sunflower sprouts and wheatgrass. And we did all that, and we would harvest it and juice it and take it in right away. And that was good. But it wasn't sustainable. It's not sustainable to a busy lifestyle in the urban environment when you're just getting a lot of stuff done during the day. Well, a miracle happened in the beginning of 2007. I was made aware of a technology advance in Europe in the development of marine phytoplankton. Now, marine phytoplankton, they started doing studies on it in the early 60s. They completed those studies around 2000. And what they were looking for was different reasons for use of marine phytoplankton because they knew there was something super powerful about it. It produces 90% of the oxygen we breathe. It grows all on its own by replication using sunlight, and it just floats in the ocean. Doesn't sit in soil, doesn't require arable land, and there was something super remarkable about it. And they knew that they could apply it to different industries like biofuel or aquaculture. They found out that there were 2 strains of marine phytoplankton that perfectly matched the human nutritional profile. In other words, what the body would love to consume was in these 2 strains, but that didn't solve the problem. How are you going to go to the ocean and decide, pick these 2 strains every day and harvest only them and then get them when they're not shelf stable? And there's this whole complication around that. In a 20-year period, they figured out how to grow these strains of marine phytoplankton in a very sophisticated, what's called a photobioreactor. And it's like an ocean on land. It's this super clean, pristine, natural environment where the marine phytoplankton believes that it's in a spring bloom condition in a natural ocean in the right season at all times. It uses sunlight. It uses real purified ocean water. It's using super high-tech computer-operated systems to keep a perfect environment for these heirloom strains of phytoplankton that mean everything to the human body. When you consume these nutrients, it's a whole different world than you've ever experienced before. You've had supplements. You've eaten superfoods. You've had all that stuff. But this is the epitomization of the ultimate superfood of all time because it has every single nutritional molecule known to man in there. Now, that sounds like a little bit of a complicated statement, but what it means is every vitamin, every mineral, every enzyme, every pigment, every amino acid, every essential fatty acid, everything that you could ever measure in the scientific world for a nutritional molecule is inside those 2 strains of marine phytoplankton. It can be used by your brain, a real nutrient that gets through the blood-brain barrier, and it feeds the brain like you've never experienced before. It's not like getting jacked up with caffeine or these different stimulant products that are on the market today. Those have a price attached to them. Now, I'm not against drinking coffee, provided you have these nutrients in your system to draw on. But if you're drinking coffee without this stuff in your system, you're pulling on your bone marrow, you're pulling on your spinal fluid, because your body's going to have to make energy from somewhere, and the coffee's saying, hey, I want energy. When you got this stuff in your system, that's a whole different world. But this is what charges you up as a battery, that deep cycle. Just think of yourself as a battery being charged. You don't run out of energy. You don't worry about having 90% or 80% or 50%. You're 100%. It does take some time. I noticed it took around 90 days for me to get to that full charge. But from the very first day I started taking this stuff, I noticed an upgrade. And it just kept getting better and better and better. You want to feel great. You want to look great. You want to enjoy life. And I'll tell you, this is joy in a bottle, because this gave me my enthusiasm to be alive like nothing I've ever experienced. I felt so good. I just wanted to feel better. And I found out that every day going to the future, I could feel better and better. This is the most important product in our whole line, because this sets the tenor for the future.